Hello dear children, we are going to do the revision of Science 1 as you have tomorrow the Science 1 paper, correct? So the portion for your test is lesson number 11, 12 and 13. Okay, that is reflection of light, study of sound and carbon compounds. Okay, carbon an important element. So let's begin. Before that, let's understand the paper pattern. So your paper is of 20 marks and you will be having question number 1 as answer the following in brief. Question number 2 will be give reason. Question number 3 will be asked as explain the following. Here also different varieties of questions can be asked, as well as question number 4 will be draw the diagram. Okay, so you have to draw one diagram whichever is asked. So you have to practice the diagrams also. So first let's revise reflection of light. Okay, so what here in this lesson you have studied. So light, what happens to when we are studying about a light. Okay, so here in this lesson you have mirror and types of mirrors. Okay, so what is a mirror that you have learned? So different types of mirrors you have learned here, plane mirror and spherical mirrors. Okay, so what mirror is? Plane mirror is when we are getting ready for our day to day life activities. So in front of that mirror we get ready, and this reflecting surface is made to be a mirror, that is a piece of glass. On one side of the piece of glass is made reflecting by another side, which is been painted as a thin film of aluminium or silver is been painted, so that one side is made reflecting. Okay, so a shiny metal is used to paint the another side. Okay, otherwise the piece of glass is a transparent substance, correct? So it is made to be reflecting by a paint. So that paint can be the aluminium or any shiny metal, as well as that aluminium should not corrode or any metal should not corrode. Again on that a coat, thin coat is given of oxide. So there are some laws of reflection of light. So this, see the laws. First is the incident ray. About the terms, some terms are there. The ray which comes from the source, that ray is called as incident ray. The ray which reflect, because we have made the piece of glass as a reflecting surface, so the ray which reflects, that ray we call it as reflected ray, the ray which comes back. Okay, so light travels in all direction from such sources. Sources can be your tube light, sources can be the sun, source can be your bulb, anything, any light giving source. So the source which is coming from one point from inside the mirror, that is the light of reflection. Okay, and from where the light actually is coming, that is called as incident ray. So this is for plane mirror. Okay, an object which is been kept in front of the plane mirror, at what distance the object should be placed, how the mirror should be, all those things you have to learn. What is meant by virtual image, what is meant by real image. So virtual image means the reflected ray do not actually meet, hence such an image is called as virtual image. So virtual image means the image which you see in your mirror, that image is called as virtual image. And the image, that is your shadow, which is taken on the screen, or image which can be taken on the screen, that image is called as real image, that you have to learn it. Here in this you have, it is been given here, the image formed by the plane mirror is of same size as that of the source. So here pencil is there in front of the plane mirror, and its image is also shown to be the same size. So only we get ready in front of the plane mirror, so that it tells us the exact thing, whether something is wrong in our dress up or either in our looks. So these were the plane mirror. Different types of images are formed in the plane mirror when the two mirrors are placed at different angles. So these also activity you have seen to when know how many images can be formed in the plane mirror. Okay, when two mirrors are placed at different angles. So when two mirrors are placed at different angles, that means if it is placed at 120, how many images will be formed? If it is placed at 90, so there is a formula to know this. See the formula: n is equal to 360 degree upon a minus 1. So that will be your number of images formed. So what important here in this lesson is to study about the spherical mirror, because next year you are going to study much in detail about this type of spherical mirror. So spherical mirrors are the mirrors which have curves. See here, you could find literally they are cut into some mirror which is been either a piece which is been cut out from a sphere. Okay, but actually it is not, but it is an imaginary thing. That spherical mirror, we describe it as it is a part which comes out from a glass sphere. So there are two types of mirrors, that is concave mirror and convex mirror. Okay, concave mirror means the inner surface of the spherical mirror is reflecting surface, then it is called as concave mirror. And convex mirror is the inner surface which is, or outer surface of the spherical mirror is reflecting surface, then it is called as convex mirror. Okay, so terms related to spherical mirrors, this is important according to your examination point of view. These terms you have to remember for next year also, so please by heart those terms related to spherical mirror. So what are these terms? The pole means the center of the mirror, the surface where, okay, the mirror is the center. So what here you could see, so this from point A to this is your actual mirror, and this point P is the pole of the mirror. Okay, radius of curvature. Next is the center of curvature. You could see center of curvature. This is the center of curvature. Okay, how you will mention it? Center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part is called the center of curvature of the mirror. That is, C is the center of curvature of the mirror. Okay, as center of circle, you know that. And the point on which the center comes and meets on the surface of the mirror, that is the pole of the mirror. So the distance between the center of curvature and the pole of the mirror, that is called as the radius of that sphere. But now here we are going to call it as radius of curvature. Okay, so here you could see, so this is the radius of curvature, radius of the sphere of which the mirror is a part is called as the radius of curvature. Principal axis, a straight line passing through the pole. Here you could see a principal axis, a straight line passing from the pole, that is called as the principal axis. Principal focus, the incident ray which is parallel to the principal axis is called as principal focus. Here you could see this is principal focus. These are all suppose incident rays. Okay, and this incident ray comes back and meets somewhere in between here. This incident ray will reflect, okay, somewhere here in between. So that is called as principal focus. So incident ray which parallel to principal axis of concave mirror, after reflection from the mirror they meet at a particular point. So that point is called as principal focus focal length. Now the distance between the pole and the principal focus of the mirror is called the focal length. Where is the pole? The distance between the pole and the focus is called as this distance. The whole distance, this whole distance you could see here, this distance from focus to the pole, that distance we call it as focal length. Drawing reflected rays, you have to know how to draw the reflected rays. Okay, there are some rules. This is also important according to your examination point of view, to tell about the rules, state the rules to draw the rays. So you have to learn these rules. Incident ray, if incident ray is parallel to principal axis, see here in this diagram, if incident ray is parallel to principal axis, where is incident ray? Blue color, and principal axis is, that is P, okay, black color line. These are parallel. So what happens to the reflected ray? Passes to the focus, you could see here. If incident ray passes through the focus, see here, this is the focus. If incident ray passes through the focus, reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis. If incident ray passes to center of curvature, then reflected ray also passes to center of curvature. So 3 rules. If incident ray is parallel to principal axis, reflected ray passes through focus. If incident ray passes through focus, reflected ray is parallel to principal axis. Incident ray passes to center of curvature, reflected ray also passes to center of curvature. Images formed by concave mirror, that you have to learn it. This we have seen by the demonstration in our videos. Okay, so how the rays will be, how the images will be formed by the concave mirror. See the concave mirror, an object is placed. So this is AB, an object placed here in front of the mirror. Okay, and an incident ray is passing through. 2 incident rays are shown, blue color. Okay, then the reflected ray you could see passing, one from focus and another from parallel to principal axis. Okay, this is the reflected ray of this, and this is the reflected ray of this one. You could see an image which is upside down, inverted image. So learn this also, images obtained in a concave mirror. So what is this? When an object is placed in between the center of curvature and focus, the image formed is beyond the center of curvature. The second figure tells us when an object placed in between focus and pole. Okay, can you see the object in between focus and pole? The second figure. See, this is an object. So the image formed is, see, where the image formed is inside the mirror, we say it is behind the mirror. Okay. So about this is a table what you have to study, where the object is placed in front of the mirror, where is the position of the image, how is the nature of the image, and the size of the image. So this is your lesson number 1, divergence and convergence of light. Who diverges light, which mirror diverges light, and which mirror converges light, that you have to learn. See your concave mirror, it converges the light, brings all the light rays together at one point. So this is called as converging mirror. And convex mirror, it diverges the light. Okay, it spreads the light which comes from the source. Okay, so according to its divergence property and convergence property, we have the uses of these mirrors. So use of concave mirror and convex mirror, this is also very important according to your exam. So you have to learn by heart all these uses of concave and convex mirror. Okay, according to its property it is being used. Next is the Cartesian sign. While studying for solving the numerical problems, we require to know this sign, okay, as well as where actually the object is placed and where actually the image is formed, how is the nature of the image. We cannot show it again and again through the demonstration. So this Cartesian sign helps us to know the nature of the object as well as the image. Okay, so you have to learn. Then the mirror formula is 1 upon v plus 1 upon u is equal to 1 upon f. This mirror formula is useful. Learn by heart for solving your numericals. Magnification. How many times your mirror can magnify the image object. Okay, so that is the magnification. Magnification means how many times the mirror can make your image either big or small. Okay, so that is called as the magnification. Solved examples are there. From these solved examples you refer exercise. From the exercise there are some brief questions. Okay, you learn, give reason, and the questions which are asked in the formation of why are the mirrors, why are the concave mirrors used in solar devices, all those things. Okay, just solve one or two numericals. Understand this lesson about the mirror which is going to be asked as an important, as well as it is a continuation of for your 10th standard also. The lesson which is there will continue for your 10th standard also. Next lesson what we are going to revise here is study of sound. How about sound we are going to learn about sound waves, velocity of sound, reflection of sound, human ear, audible sound, infrasound and ultrasound. Okay, sound, you know what sound is. Sound is a form of energy. As it is a form of energy, it creates a sensation of hearing in our ear, so we call it as an energy. Its particles of medium, wherever the sound is traveling through any medium, the particles vibrate and this vibration creates waves. So these waves are called as longitudinal waves. Okay, so here you have learned about much about the sound waves. Compression and rarefaction is formed. Compression means where the particles are dense because of the sound, you are pushing the particles, so that is called as compression. And rarefaction means where the particles are rare, okay, density is low. So this creates a motion into the medium, okay, creates a wave. And this motion of the particles do not leave their place and go, they vibrate there itself, so that is called as an oscillation. Okay, wavelength of the sound wave is indicated by the letter lambda. You could see here letter lambda, while its frequency is indicated by mu. Okay, you could see the wavelength of the sound wave indicated by letter lambda and the frequency is indicated by mu. Amplitude, how much the sound is maximum or either it is high or low. Okay, so that we call it as the frequency. The value of frequency, it determines whether the sound is high or low. So that high or low we call it as pitch. Velocity of the sound, the distance covered by a point on the wave. Okay, the distance covered by any particle on that wave, that distance in that time we call it as sound wave. Okay, so velocity is equal to distance upon time. It is your regular formula. Okay, so any point on the sound wave covers a distance equal to lambda. Lambda means the wavelength. Okay, and time t, that is the period of that particle which is traveling, which are in motion. So V is equal to nu into lambda. Nu, okay, that is nu is the frequency, V is the velocity. As 1 upon T is equal to nu, see this value, that is called as, this is called as nu. So 1 upon T means nu. So V is equal to nu upon lambda. So nu means 1 upon T. So instead of nu, what you are doing here is replacing, substituting nu. So V is equal to 1 upon T into, just will write here. See here, V is equal to 1 upon T. 1 upon T means this is nu, okay, multiplied by this lambda. So after multiplication you are going to get this value. What is there? V is equal to lambda upon T. That is your velocity of sound. So velocity of sound is equal to wavelength into frequency. Wavelength of the sound multiplied by frequency. So different medium have different medium having different values, okay, of or speed for allowing the sound to travel or allowing the particles to move. So in different medium, velocity of the sound differs. So here they have given in aluminium, velocity of the sound is 5420 meter per second. So as velocity is highest in solids and it is least in gases, so it increases with an increase in the temperature of the medium. So velocity of the sound will increase as temperature of the medium is increase. So what happens to the temperature in the medium? What happens to the medium when you increase the temperature? You know, any substance, when we increase the temperature, it expands. Expansion of the substance means the particles, they expand, they go away from each other. If particles go away from each other, then what will happen? They will get proper place to vibrate, proper place to oscillate. So velocity of sound in gaseous medium, so it depends on some of the factors are there: temperature, density and molecular weight. So if temperature, velocity of sound is directly proportional to the square root of the temperature of the medium. Okay, so velocity, this means if temperature increases 4 times, okay, this means that increasing the temperature 4 times, it doubles the velocity. If you are increasing the temperature 4 times than the normal temperature, then velocity will become double fast. Density, velocity of the sound is inversely proportional to the square root of density. That means increasing the density 4 times reduces the velocity to half its value. If you are increasing the density of the particle, that means if the particles are freezed or either they are brought close to each other, then velocity of the sound will decrease to half its value. The same thing, correct? Because of density, the particles will not get place to vibrate, to oscillate. So if they do not get proper place to oscillate because of sound, naturally the sound velocity is going to decrease. Next is the molecular mass or molecular weight. So the velocity of sound is inversely proportional to the square root of the molecular weight of gas. So thus increasing the molecular weight 4 times reduces the velocity to half. If molecular weight means, so hydrogen is H2O. So its molecular weight is together of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, one molecule of water will have the weight of hydrogen and oxygen. So same way, if you are increasing the weight of the molecule, therefore this molecule will become heavy and it will also not get proper frequency to vibrate. So if molecular weight also increases, it reduces the velocity. Next is the audible, infra and ultrasound. What is audible sound, what is infrasound and ultrasound? Audible sound means what we could hear, the range of the sound, velocity or the frequency which we could hear, that is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Hertz is the unit for frequency, that you know. So this is the normal limit of hearing of an human ear, from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So 20,000 hertz can be written as 20k hertz also. The sound which is smaller, the frequency of sound which is smaller than 20 hertz, we call that sound as infrasound. And the frequency of the sound which is more than 20,000 hertz, we call it as ultrasound. There are some of the animals which could hear this ultrasound as well as infrasound. Some animals around us, these are dog, mouse, bat, dolphin, they have special ability to perceive this sound. Their ears are made in such a way that they can receive the sound. Okay, some children are also, which are below 5 years, they also can perceive this type of sound which is ultrasound. Okay, so bats, mice, dolphins, etc. So learn, there is also ultrasonic sound which is being produced by bat, that you know, it is producing this ultrasonic sound into the environment when it is in flight, because first of all it cannot see, its eyes are not made to see anything in the dark. So in the dark it locates the obstacle for flying, or either it locates its prey by producing the sound. You should know the uses of ultrasonic sound. Learn these uses. Reflection of sound. Sound also, like light, it reflects in the same angle. Incident ray and reflected ray. Incident sound and reflected sound. Reflected sound also makes the same angle to the normal. This you know. Good and bad reflectors of sound. Some of the substances, they help the sound to reflect, and some of the substances, they absorb the sound. Okay, like cloth, paper, curtain, carpet, furnitures, these are, from these, some are reflectors of sound and some are absorber of sound. So the substance which are soft, they absorb the sound, and the substance which are hard, they reflect the sound. So echo, learn about the echo and how a distinct echo is being produced. So original sound, in order to hear the original sound and its reflection distinctly, at 22 degrees Celsius, the temperature, if temperature is 22 degrees Celsius, the velocity of the sound in air is 344 meter per second. Then the echo can be heard after, from what distance, that is 34.4 meters per. Okay, here you could see distance is equal to speed upon time. It is your normal formula. Speed of sound in the air is 344 meter per second. This is a normal range. At what temperature? 22 degree Celsius. And what is the velocity of the, what, see, our brain retains a sound for 0.1 second. Sound is been kept in our brain for how long? Our brain can keep the sound for 0.1 second. So for us to be able to hear a distinct echo, what distance we require to stand? 34.4 meters. Okay, so this is to able to hear a distinct echo, the reflecting surface should be at a minimum distance of half of the above. So see, 17.2 meters, there should be a wall which should be 17.2 meters away from us. Then only we are going to get a distinct echo. Reverberation, the repeated process of reflection of sound, we call it as reverberation. Okay, in the auditorium it can be, so sound which is reflecting many times, multiple times, that is called as reverberation. So to avoid this reverberation, we have to put a bad conductor of sound. Next is the sonar technique. This is very important for your diagram also. You have to learn this diagram, and as well as the technique, the sonar technique, okay, which is being used on the base of ultrasonic sound. Okay, it is used in your in the aeroplanes. It is used for detection of any of the flaws in the metal, in the machineries, as well as it is used in the submarines as well as in the sea to find the obstacle while floating in the sea water. Okay, as well as it can help the fisher boats also for locating the spawns of fishes. Okay, sonography technique, read all these things. Sonography, which helps, there is a probe, you could see, examiner procedure, a probe is there and a gel is applied on the body of that person whose sonography has to be done. Any defects in the womb of a mother, or to see the condition of the fetus which is growing in the womb of a mother, if the condition is normal, that is done with the help of sonography. Or either some defects are there, can be made out with the help of sonography. Some defects in the internal organs, it can be the kidney, it can be the uterus of a woman, can be detected with the help of sonography. Okay, so learn this technique. Human ear, required to learn about the human ear and its working. See the construction, the structure of the human ear. Okay, three parts it has: outer, middle and inner ear. So outer ear is made up of pinna, it collects the sound is carried into the auditory canal. Okay, that is, then it is called as a tympanic cavity. Then the eardrum vibrates, it takes the sound to the chain of three bones. These three bones vibrates and there is a gel in between. This vibration is taken by the gel and then vibration is being taken to the cochlea. This cochlea converts the vibration to the electrical signal and carries to the brain, and your brain detects the sound and tells you what you are hearing about. So you have to learn about this ear. Okay, solved examples are there, how to apply the formula and solve the sums. So learn from your 3 solved examples. Try this. Your exercise, fill in the blanks. Solve any these 2 question number from solved examples. Okay, fifth one, that is solve the following examples. Numerical is there. These numericals, at least 3 numericals, you try to solve it. Answer the following question in your own words. You can answer it very well. Okay, and where and why are sound absorbing materials used? Just now we have discussed in auditorium, in cinema hall. Okay, wherever the public requires to sit for listening, so that should be heard clearly, whatever is coming from the auditorium or coming from the speaker, that has to be heard clearly. So sound absorbing materials are used. Learn all those, correct? Next we are going to revise about the carbon, an important element. So carbon, its symbol, atomic number, atomic mass number, electronic configuration, valency, required to learn. Okay, symbol is C, atomic number is 6. What is mean by atomic number? The number of protons or number of electrons in that atom. Atomic mass number means the number of protons plus electrons, we call it as atomic mass number. Electronic configuration, atomic number is 6, so that electrons are distributed in two orbits, first orbit and second orbit. So it has two orbits. In first orbit there is 2 electron, and in second orbit there are 4 electrons. Valency is 4 and it is a non-metal. So compounds, millions of compounds are present around us which are the base of carbon. So how the carbon occurs in the atmosphere? Occurrence of carbon in the atmosphere into the nature, it occurs in the form of some carbonates, it occurs in the form of fossil fuels, it is there in the carbonaceous nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins and fats, it is there in the form of cotton, wool, silk. So everything around us, living substances, are made up of carbon. Allotropes of carbon. Allotropes of carbon are crystalline form as well as the amorphous form. So first is the crystalline form, that is the diamond, formation of diamond and where we get diamond, structure of diamond, correct, how the atoms are arranged in the carbon atoms are arranged in the diamond, and because of that it is having the particular shape and shine. Okay, as well as properties of diamond, learn the properties of diamond. Okay, and the uses of diamond. Same way about the graphite. Graphite is also the arrangement of carbon atoms, but they are arranged in a different way. You could see how they are arranged in a different way. Every carbon atom is bounded to 3 other carbon atom in a hexagonal layer, and there are layers here in between. In between two layers there is a space. Okay, in between two layers you could see this is the space here, and because of this space you could find this substance is very, because of space this substance is very soft, but it is shiny and black in color. This arrangement of carbon and this arrangement of carbon is different, correct? So only it is diamond and this is graphite. So you have to learn about the graphite and its uses, properties of graphite and the uses of graphite. Okay, it's very important, properties to be known and uses to be known, because graphite is used in our day-to-day life in the pencil, lubricants, carbon electrodes. Next is the fullerene. This is another type of allotrope of carbon. It is a bulky ball. Okay, so Buckminster fullerene, the name of a scientist who have discovered this, Richard Buckminster Fuller. So it is called as fullerene. It can be made up of 60 carbon atoms or it can be made up of 120 carbon atoms, but it is in the form of ball, sphere, so it is called as bucky ball. And properties of fullerene and uses: non-crystalline and amorphous form. Coal have the types here: peat, lignite, bituminous coal and anthracite. It is according to the amount of carbon present in it and other substances. These are natural substances formed on the earth's crust. Next is the charcoal and use of coal. Next is the coke and the use. Hydrocarbons, carbon compound. Okay, a large amount of carbon compound which is present around us, that is called as hydrocarbon. So carbon and hydrogen bonds. So a smallest or the main parent hydrocarbon is CH4 molecule. So property of covalent compound. So hydrocarbons are covalent compound. You know what covalent compounds are? They are formed because of sharing of their electrons. So same way hydrocarbons are also formed because of sharing of their electrons in between carbon and hydrogen, so that they can satisfy their valency. So saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbon means carbon and carbon atom is bonded by single bond, and unsaturated hydrocarbon means carbon and carbon is bonded by double or triple bond. So these are multiple bond, that is double or triple bond. If carbon and carbon is attached to it, then it is called as unsaturated, and if it is single bond, it is called as saturated. Now what single bond and what double bond? Single bond means only one electron are shared in between carbon and carbon atom, and what double bond means, two electrons are shared in between carbon and carbon atom. Triple bond means three electrons are shared in between carbon and carbon atom. So that is very important according to your next years also, as well as learn by heart. Saturated and unsaturated. Reaction of carbon with oxygen. Carbon reacts with oxygen. This is our usual experiment to form carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so carbon dioxide's property you have to learn, and uses of carbon dioxide. Okay, how carbon dioxide is prepared in the laboratory. The diagram, see the diagram. With the help of diagram you should able to tell the preparation of carbon dioxide into the laboratory. See what you have to take in the flask: calcium carbonate, and then cover the flask with a 2-hole cork. From one hole pass a Tistel funnel, and from another hole pass a bent tube. Another end of the bent tube pass through a gas cylinder. Cover the mouth of the gas cylinder. Pour dilute hydrochloric acid into CaCO3. Now what you are going to, will get the reaction calcium carbonate. See here, calcium carbonate plus sulfuric acid. Here calcium carbonate is there, and sulfuric acid we have poured it through Tistel funnel. What we get here is calcium chloride, water, and carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide gas which is formed is collected in the gas cylinder. So we have to learn the property of carbon dioxide, chemical properties of carbon dioxide, how it reacts with other substance in the nature. Sodium hydroxide, how it reacts with sodium hydroxide to form sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. Sodium carbonate is washing soda. And again sodium carbonate, if you pass carbon dioxide gas to sodium carbonate, we will get NaHCO3, that is baking soda. Uses of carbon dioxide. Learn these uses. As you know, many of the uses. Use carbon dioxide is of, it can extinguish fire. Okay, that here you have learned in the property of carbon dioxide. Okay, it extinguishes fire. Here you could see, hold a burning matchstick, burning candle, you will find it extinguishes that candle. So carbon dioxide is having the property to extinguish fire. So we prepare this in the fire extinguisher. So the structure of fire extinguisher and its working. What fire extinguisher contains? Powder sodium bicarbonate, and in a small vessel it contains, in a capsule you could see there is a capsule, it contains sulfuric acid. This capsule's knob is being pressed and sulfuric acid comes out. It gets mixed with sodium bicarbonate to form carbon dioxide gas, and this carbon dioxide gas helps to extinguish fire. We are going to study about methane, a main important carbon compound. Methane is a natural gas. Okay, and the properties, physical property of methane: melting point, boiling point of methane, colorless gas, tasteless gas, but it is combustible. It can be used for combustion as a fuel. So methane is in a gaseous state at room temperature. Chemical property of methane: methane reacts with oxygen when it is heated to give out carbon dioxide, water, and heat is given out. As heat is given out, this heat we can use it for cooking. So methane burns completely. So how much amount of energy is given out by methane per mole, per molecule? That is 213 kilocalories. Chlorination of methane: methane can be turned into chloromethane. Okay, so chlorination of methane: methane plus chlorine, in the presence of light we can get chloromethane. uses of methane gas, learn all these things. Biogas plant, how it is used, it will be there around your house somewhere. Whoever is having, those people who are having cattle, you have to suggest them for biogas plant. Your methane gas is produced there itself and used there itself, because methane gas cannot be compressed into the cylinder. You cannot pack methane gas into the cylinder and send house to house, otherwise it would become a very cheaper gas, cheap or low costing gas, and it can be useful for cooking purpose. Okay, so all those gas production, please read important things here. Okay, I've gone back here. Okay, by mistake something was pressed and we went behind in my mobile. So physical properties study, the give reason and answer the following questions. Uses of diamond, in which compound forms does carbon occur, why are carbon and its compound useful. Scientific reason, from your very easy scientific reasons are there. 4 give reasons you study, and from here you study physical property of the substances, as well as explain the following. Study your methane is called marsh gas, uses of carbon dioxide, fire extinguisher, diamond, graphite, are all you require to study. Okay, all the best. We have completed our revision. In short, all the best for your exam. Write your paper well. Okay, thank you.